video is sponsored by Frontline Model Hobbies, your one-stop website for all your modelling needs. Check out the store for special offers, pre-orders and also aftermarket accessories. Check out their website. A big thank you to Frontline Model Hobbies. Hello and welcome back. This is part 3 of the OH-6 build. Now on this video we are basically getting the fuselage halves painted and ready so we can put in the cockpit and start building it up to stages just before paint. Now with the paint I just painted the inside black, and again using the light or dark gold grey for the interior colour. And once that was done I actually bought a special clear glue for the clear parts. Now these particular parts are incredibly, well I wouldn't say difficult, but you do need to be careful if you are actually building this kit, because the fit isn't that great, and once they're in you do need to sort of like almost seal it around the edges so it won't actually come off. Although once the glue is dry it is extremely strong and you'd be hard pressed to actually accidentally put that through. So once that heart attack is now finished, I was on to my next, and it was basically putting, as you can see, the rotor hub and the rotor blades together. Now this is quite simplistic, i.e. you've got two parts for the actual main rotor hub, and with the rotor blades being 4 of them are quite easy to actually pop in. Now you do get some form of droop actually on the actual blades themselves. Not that I've ever suffered with droop myself, but they do come with a droop, which is quite accurate when you actually look at the pictures, because you do get them that, you know, people have got them like mega straight, but there are some droop actually on the rotor blades. So once they were glued and in place, it was time to put the other half of the hub on, which was okay. There was some gapping, but a bit of super glue sorted that out, no problem. So once the top perspex was actually fitted and dried and secure, it was time to go over it with some clear green. Now there are some pictures with it clear green and there are some without. I opted with obviously the green on because I wanted to make it just that little bit more sort of like colourful once the sun comes through and you can see the green tinge actually inside the cockpit. So once that was done and all masked up, it was time to fit the cockpit in, which I'm glad to say fitted quite well. It does have anchor points, so you really shouldn't have any issue popping it in. All you've got to do is to make sure that it's all straight and it's not skew-whiff, because if it is skew-whiff it does tend to fit a lot better. But if it's all straight and all narrow and all that kind of stuff, you do have to apply pressure, put it that way, to actually get them to put the actual fuselage together. But using super glue you really shouldn't have that much of a problem, and again to aid you, you can actually use or put some Tamiya masking tape over the actual fuselage just to make sure that it doesn't come apart. Now once that was drying I went on to a little bit more of a detailing part, i.e. the instruments themselves. Now all I did was I cut off quite a thick nugget, as it were, of plastic card and put it actually on to simulate the wires coming from the actual instruments themselves, because they will be visible once you put the cockpit on, or the canopy on shall I say. So it is quite a good sort of like point of reference when you're actually looking at it, because it is going to look bare if you don't do it. But I did have a bit of a problem with the super glue, thanks Rob, so I had to use some accelerant to glue it in all nice and steady. So once I've unsuperglued myself together, it was now time to get a little bit detail back on the kit. Now for this, what I did do is use some dyno tape, and with a piece of Tamiya tape on the bottom, put it on, cut it to short strips, and then I can go into what I call is my second nightmare, which is rescribing. I cannot stand rescribing. And why is that? Because I'm not very good at it. But anyway, I did what I did as best as I possibly could, and I think it did actually come out quite well, for me anyway. Although panel lines actually on the LOACH, well, there isn't many. There's only sort of like 3 on each side, and basically that is where the doors for the opening of the engine, so the engineers can actually service it and take it out or repair, and that is it. So really I was happy with that, and I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke or throw the kit around. It did actually work out quite well in the end. Now my third nightmare and heart attack season is riveting. Again, I don't know why, I'm absolutely bloody rubbish at it, but for this one I actually did do it quite well for me. They were straight. I put on as many of the rivets as I could possibly find as a reference on the real thing, as in for the technical plans, so hopefully it does resemble some form of, you know, practical sort of like I don't know. Then again, let's just call it artistic license. So when the nightmare was finished, I could go straight on to adding the tail boom. Now again, like I've said before, the kit is from 1968, and the actual tail boom fitted really well. And you've got a support beam that goes from the actual, well, what I'm holding there, to the actual main plane itself. And again, that actually does fit really well. It was a simple dab of Tamiya extra thin. It went on and not a problem. Although I did knock it off. Yes, I will admit that. But all I did was glue it back on and it was absolutely fine. No problem at all. Now once that was done and I was happy with it, it was just a case now of just sticking as many of the photo etch parts as I could without going absolutely mental. And I think really for the amount that I did actually put on, it did make a big difference. Especially when we're looking at buckles, harnesses, and well, for the inside for the crew chief, and also the opening fasteners for the actual engine compartment itself. So overall, I'm happy with the photo etch that I've used. Now it was the very small little bits and pieces which I say things I forgot will need to actually go on, as in the plate underneath which actually holds the navigation lights and can also be fitted with an actual searchlight as well. And the last thing, bits and pieces I need to do was actually repaint the actual instrument panel itself. I did do a bit of a cock up on it and it needed redoing, so that's what I did. So once that was done and I was happy with what I had, I could actually fit the actual photo etch onto the actual housing itself, and then I could apply it to the actual kit. So once that was done, it was then on to doing the canopy, which will be in the next video, which I really haven't done too much videoing of because It was a nightmare, but I'm happy to say that it's on. So when you see the next video, I probably won't go too much on about it because I'll probably start crying again. But anyway, thus up to now, the actual kit from 1968 has gone together really well, and I'm happy with what I've got. Is it a bit ropey? Oh yes. Could I have done better? If I'm honest, with the skill set which I've got and what I've actually done, I don't think so. I'm really happy with the effort that I've put into it, whether it be scratch building, rescribing, riveting, and actually using the photo etch. I'm happy. So, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.